Hey GAWDA members, we're still buzzing from this year's incredible Spring Management Conference in Oklahoma City. Thank you to the 700 members who joined us on the Modern Frontier for making this such a memorable event. Here to help us relive all of the amazing conference is GAWDA's Vice President of Operations and Administration, Natasha Alexis.
Steve, just want to take a couple moments to thank the 700 attendees who came together a couple weeks ago with us in Oklahoma. Of those 700, Steve, 204 were distributors and 450 suppliers. Special thank you to everyone who was able to join us. It was a really energizing time of networking and learning, not to mention the NBA finals were also happening in Oklahoma at the same time. So lots of energy and excitement around the conference. It was great to see all those new faces, the first time attendees at the conference. Thank you to the Member Services Committee for hosting again their very successful newcomers event, which is such a welcoming environment for those new faces. Thank you, Member Services Committee. Another exciting part of the conference was the expanded, larger contact booth program at the convention center. We got great feedback from a couple of our suppliers who were able to bring in their trailers on the show floor for members to view and experience, and a couple who expanded their booth size from the 10 by 10 to 10 by 20. We're not always able to do this at our different conference sites. We usually host everything under one roof at the hotel, but we'll keep this positive experience in mind as we look at future cities, destinations for our SMC. Next, Steve, we'd like to thank our education session presenters. This is truly the special thing about this community of businesses, some that are competitors, but really committed to the advancement of the industry and candidly sharing their experiences, their insight. Thank you to each one of the education session presenters that we had in Oklahoma. If you're interested in taking this opportunity to share your experiences, your insight with others in the industry, please reach out to any of us on the GAWDA headquarters team or anyone on the executive committee. Now, next, thank you to our sponsors. As John Ospina, GAWDA Executive Director, mentioned on stage at the Spring Management Conference, your continued support helps us to add value to these meetings, expand programming. So just a special thank you to our sponsors once again. Now, the conference is wrapped up, but the momentum continues with GAWDA. Our volunteers are still meeting virtually. We have programming throughout the year and regional meetings across the country still. So we encourage you to stay connected. Reach out to any of us on the GAWDA headquarters team. Again, we are here to serve you. Thank you again to all of us who are able to join us in Oklahoma City, and we will see you at the next episode of GAWDA TV. Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. Stay tuned for the full SMC recap, which will be coming out next week with full photo galleries from the event, as well as interviews from the floor of the Contact Booth program. Next up on GAWDA's summer event schedule is the Seven Springs Regional Meeting at the end of this month from June 23rd to the 24th. Registration for that event is open now and can be accessed in the description below. If you didn't make it out to Oklahoma City, we hope that you can join us in Boston for GAWDA's annual convention from September 20th to the 23rd. We've got a great show lined up for you today, and it all comes after a word from today's presenting sponsor, Weldcoa. During the 2026 SMC, GAWDA President Allison Earlbeck introduced an exciting new program for GAWDA members, a monthly AI bootcamp from Kingo AI. The focus of this program is to bring members real, practical ways that AI can support their businesses. Sign up for the AI bootcamp using the link in the description below. During the SMC, GAWDA Media CEO Bill Broad had the opportunity to interview GAWDA Technology Committee co-chair Hector Villarreal about this exciting new program, as well as other updates from the Technology Committee.
So I'm here with Hector Villarreal. You are the president of Weldcoa. You are also the chairman of the GAWDA Technology Committee. You
Yes, I
folks
am.
just had your meeting at the SMC, but you also made some comments that your committee's been really active outside of the framework of the SMC. Talk about the committee, how you guys meet, who's on it, and who you would like to be on it.
So, the Technology Committee is one of the newest committees for the GAWDA membership. And when it started, we had very specific tasks. We were asked to talk about e-commerce, cybersecurity, and this new thing that was known as AI. And so the people who initially joined were all of the IT people inside the various vendor and distributor groups. And from the very first meeting, the flow of information was a tidal wave. So much, information resides inside these really brilliant people that work at these companies. And it was just gushing out on the table. And we were just trying to capture it all and make sense of where to use it. By our third meeting, and these are all virtual meetings, the board had asked us to do presentations on e-commerce, on cybersecurity, and on artificial intelligence. And so the first two were done, the cybersecurity and the e-commerce, and they were very well received. We were very pleased to see how many people, came. Obviously, there's a need for this information out there. And, the people who are on the committee are the people who are living and breathing, e-commerce or cybersecurity every day at work. And so there was a vast amount of knowledge that was shared with everybody. So we were very pleased with that. The AI side of things has evolved and continues to evolve so rapidly that it's almost impossible to peg down. Whatever I tell you today may be outdated, by the next SMC, right? But it's important to get this information out. So we've just decided to make sure that we have these quarterly meetings so that we're all educating each other. Because, this is what this is. This is a peer-to-peer group sharing realistic technology with everybody. It makes no sense to have, a speaker come in here and talk about a technology that nobody can afford, right?
Yeah.
We want practical knowledge put into the hands of the people who can use it. And so that's been kind of the governing role of the group. So going forward, there's going to be a reset on how we have these meetings and how often we have these meetings.
So who are you looking now to? You said you've got a lot of IT people, but you're looking to open up the funnel now and draw different jobs titles into the mix here?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we discussed internally in the committee was the need for the people who are doing the process inside all of the distributors or vendors, right? Who have an interest.
Well, that would be you. You're a process guy.
I am a process guy,
Right, so-
absolutely.
So you talked about the amount of learning that has taken place for just you personally in being part of this. So what other parts within GAWDA could benefit from this committee besides the IT groups?
I tell anybody, AI has proliferated into every aspect of what we do. It's in cybersecurity, it's in e-commerce. So there's no more hard, fast definition anymore. It's all becoming integrated. And so if you want to keep on top of that, if you want to be knowledgeable on the current trends, you should join, even if you don't consider yourself a technology person or a software person. You can learn a lot. For me, this is something that's always been of interest to me. but I'm not a programmer. I'm not an IT person. I'm definitely learning a tremendous amount every time. So I think people who just want to understand it better, maybe make their life better, their work life better, they would benefit from attending these meetings.
So how would they get involved?
So you can contact the GAWDA board, and then they'll pass your information to the committee, or you can email me directly at hector@weldcoa.com, and I'll put you on the roster for the next email blast for our quarterly meeting.
Great. So GAWDA has proactively reached out to a vendor to get people started in this company called Kingo AI. Talk a little bit about how Kingo came to be and what can members do with Kingo, and how would they get involved?
So the current GAWDA president is Allison, and she has done a really tremendous job of not only being interested in artificial intelligence, but really trying to adapt it in her day-to-day life, and so she's been very pivotal in getting GAWDA involved with Kingo, and kudos to her. GAWDA needs an organization like Kingo who can come in and kind of do the hand-holding. You have to have the want, right? If you attend a meeting, you should say, I want to automate this aspect of my job. Is it possible? More than likely it is. And then they can show you step by step on how to do it. And you may find out that they made your life a lot easier. From my experience, once I know how to do one thing, I want to know how to do another thing, and it just kind of builds on. But that's not a bad thing. Kingo is going to put on private boot camps for GAWDA. The first 200 people that register will have a seat, and they can, in a live workshop setting, learn how to do whatever it is they want to do. I want to automate, my P&L. I want to be able to put my data into, you name it, Claude or Chat or whoever, and I want, the results to come down in a way that makes sense to my business. They can show you how to do that, right? Go ahead.
You mentioned about, I thought it was a really good analogy when you talked about telling your son to clean his room where nothing got done, but if you said, make your bed, fold your clothes, vacuum the floor, you got very specific. I thought that was a really interesting analogy when you overlaid that to how to use AI.
You have to learn that the problem isn't the technology, the problem is us. We speak in general terms because it's, we're trying to use shorthand. You can't use shorthand with AI. You have to be very specific, because if you give it vague information, it provides you with vague information. So, you have to be very, very specific on what you want to do. And if you know the process, go down the process as far as you can verbally to the system, and it will give you better information. And as time goes by, you learn to drill, further and further down. But yeah, absolutely. You've got to be very specific.
So do you think, is there a different role for AI for suppliers and distributors within GAWDA? And if there is, how would you describe that?
I think there's some overlap, right? Anything that you can put into a spreadsheet, you can manipulate in AI. That is being done right now very successfully. As you and I discussed, it's got to be a subscription that you pay for. You don't want your information put into a free AI app, because then the whole world is open to see it. So if you're paying for it, make sure that it's private and that your information will remain private, right? But once you're able to do that, again, it'll build. You'll want to do more things.
So you start small and you just continue to build. Is that a role that Kingo will kind of walk people through about how to start small and continue to build?
Yeah, I think Kingo and companies like Kingo, they teach you how to crawl, and then they teach you how to walk, and they teach you how to run. The nice thing about Kingo is if you're using ChatGPT, they'll show you how to use it better. If you're using a different AI, they'll teach you how to use that AI better. It's not really the technology that's the issue, it's the people. How to communicate properly to get the results that you want.
Okay, so just in wrapping up, what would you want the rest of GAWDA to know about the work you guys have done, where you see it going, and how they can stay in touch with what you guys are doing?
You know, at times like this, when the technology is changing rapidly, it becomes very difficult to keep up with things, and people, you know, may feel overwhelmed. And there's a subset of people that are just like, you know, I don't care about AI. I'm going to ignore it. You can ignore it, but it's not going to go away. The genie is most definitely out of the bottle. So, you know, learning how to use it in a way that makes you better at your job, makes you more valuable, and, you know, leads to a more profitable career. And, you know, from your employer, you become a multiplier. You're able to do more tomorrow than you currently can do today. So those are good things.
That's great. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hector, thanks.
Always appreciate talking to you, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks, Hector, for teaching us more about this important new program and for all the work that the Technology Committee is doing. Before the break, we heard from GAWDA Technology Committee co-chair Hector Villarreal about an exciting new program. Also during the SMC in Oklahoma City, the Member Services Committee held its semi-annual in-person meeting. During this meeting, it was announced that Jason Cowles would be co-chair of the committee with John Tapley, taking over for Ben Black, who's ascended to the GAWDA board. The MSC also held its third consecutive GAWDA Guides program to help first-time attendees assimilate into the organization and the event. We had the opportunity to speak with Jason and communication co-chair Richelle Smith-Brecht about this event. All right, we are lucky enough to be joined today by Jason Cowles and Richelle Smith-Brecht, both of the Member Services Committee. So Jason, I'll start with you. I said Member Services Committee, but I guess I buried the lead because you are the new co-chair of the Member Services Committee. So could you, you only joined GAWDA 3 years ago, I think. So can you tell us about that journey?
Yeah, you know, this is my third SMC. My first one was in San Antonio, and I just learned about committees at that event. And I approached Rafael Arvello, and he introduced me to Ben Black, and I just wanted to get involved. So I learned as much as I could, as fast as I could, and I just raised my hand. I mean, there were things people were doing that they wanted to hand off to somebody else, so I just raised my hand a lot. And then Ben called me and said, hey, I was wondering if you would take over as chair. I'm going to be moving on to the board. And I said, yes, but I'm going to need your help to know what to do. And Ben's been great. Everybody's been great. And, you know, I'm really excited about helping GAWDA, you know, shaping the future.
Absolutely. So you've actually been helping to shape the present. And for the people that don't realize it, we started the Newcomers event. I think this is the third one that we've run. It was kind of your baby at the beginning, but for those who don't know the story, can you tell the story of where that came from?
Yeah. I was a newcomer, and I had I had a really hard time, you know, breaking in, because the good thing about GAWDA is the relationships are really strong, but it's also the bad thing if you're not inside those relationships. So I went to the Grand Wailea. It was so beautiful, and I sat by myself, and it was kind of awkward because the speaker was doing like group participation things, like turn to your partner and have a conversation. I didn't have anybody. I was like sitting there going, oh man, I hope no one notices that I don't even know anybody. So out of that, I just realized, you know, I don't want someone else to be in that same situation. So thanks to Kevin Falconer, he's been my big brother. In a sense, this was his idea. You know, we worked on it together, and it's just been great. I mean, it's so much fun to talk to these newcomers and they ask me, wow, where'd you come up with this? And then I get to tell them, well, I was just like you know, a short time ago.
Absolutely. So we had the Member Services Committee meeting yesterday, and we have 3 subcommittees, including the Communications Subcommittee. So, Richelle, you're going to be heading the Communications Subcommittee up. Could you tell us a little bit about what that committee is going to do and your role in the newcomers event going forward?
Oh, sure, of course. It's our job to make sure that newcomers are communicated to, quite literally, making sure that they understand what's going on inside GAWDA and making sure that they feel welcome, to Jason's point. I had a similar situation when I came into GAWDA. I was very young. There was no newcomers. There was no nothing. So I just kind of flailed around myself and didn't know what to do and just kind of followed my father around like a goofball. So I kind of understand, feeling left out like that. And the newcomers event, though, was fantastic. It was kind of an organized way for everybody to get to talk to every single regional chair, get to talk to every single committee member. And I got a lot of good feedback about it. People really liked it. I enjoyed meeting new people. I picked up a few business cards myself from newbies who hadn't been with us before. And so I had a lot of people tell me that they really enjoyed it. Like the personal attention, it was organized. They got to talk to who they wanted to talk to. They were asking good questions of the committee members and about the meetings and stuff. So I felt like it went really well. Hopefully they had a similar experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you haven't attended a GAWDA meeting before, first of all, what are you waiting for? But if you are going to be there in Boston at the annual convention, make sure you register for the newcomers event. It's not something that we put on the schedule. It's not something you're going to just stumble across because we want to keep it to true newcomers. So do you have anything to tease or anything that we can talk about for people to get excited about that event?
I don't have anything specific, but I will tell you it's going to be fabulous. We're going to do a great job, so please show up. We will be happy to answer any of your questions, help you out. And that goes throughout the conference, too. People have to understand, it's not just the newcomers event and then we forget about you. You run into people in the halls, check in with them, see how they're doing. So please, the whole convention, it's important.
Absolutely. One of the things we talked about during the meeting yesterday, you alluded to it earlier, is getting involved. That's the best way to meet people. There is no password, but the more you put yourself out there, the more you're going to get out of it. So for people that are interested in joining either Member Services Committee or any of the other committees, do you have any advice?
Yeah, we're trying to make it easier than ever for someone who raises their hand to say, I want to be involved, to get involved, because GAWDA is a volunteer organization, and so we need more volunteers. There's actually some board members that are going to be moving on, and the way we get new board members is for people to get on committees. And we had a survey this year, and we got, I think, 30 respondents, and most of them said, I want to join a committee. I want to get involved. I want to meet people. So I can't wait to respond to those people and say, hey, tell me more about your story. What are you interested in? The safety committee could really use you. And so it's almost like a conveyor belt where to get people out the end, you've got to put people in. And so it's really exciting to see how these newcomers are wanting to get involved, and so it's our job now to help make that easy for them to do. So they just need to, we'll be pursuing them. So the newcomers that came to the event will be corresponding with them and trying to place them where they can be the most impactful.
Absolutely. Well, GAWDA is definitely an organization where you get out of it what you put into it. So put yourself out there, attend as many events as you can, and get involved. We got 2 living testaments to it right here. So Jason and Richelle, thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
GAWDA Media is the go-to resource for news and information about the gases and welding industry. Through our wide variety of publication platforms, GAWDA Media keeps our members up to date on all of the most breaking news, emerging trends, and member events in the industry. Want to get your company's message seen? We have a quarterly print publication, a twice-monthly newsletter, an online buyer's guide, and a twice-monthly news show. If it's happening at Gas and Welding, it's happening on GAWDA Media. Want to learn more? Contact your GAWDA Media representative today. Today's member news segment is brought to you by Anthony Carts. Check out the new CB6 6C 2WL HT cylinder cradle with full 360-degree mobility and heavy-duty handling today. This cradle is a rugged and highly maneuverable solution for transporting and storing industrial gas cylinders with ease. Whether you're operating in a fabrication shop, gas distribution center, or field service operation, the CB6 6C 2WL HT offers unmatched versatility and strength. Learn more or request a quote at Anthony's website today, www.anthonycarts.com. During the 2026 SMC in Oklahoma City, the Industry Partnering Committee announced its 3rd annual Best in Show Award. Congratulations to Kemper for winning this year's Best in Show for the 10x20 booth category, and to Exacor, Flametech, and Victory Welding Supply who won the 10x10 booth category. We look forward to seeing how the bar will continue to be raised during next year's SMC in Chicago. Speaking of GAWDA events, the locations for the next several national meetings were announced during this year's SMC. We'll head to Boston for this year's annual convention, Chicago and Palm Desert for next year's SMC and AC, Nashville for the 2028 SMC, and Colorado Springs for the convention, and Austin for the SMC in 2029. We can't wait to see you at all of these amazing locations. GAWDA announced Beth Gomes as its new educational sessions consultant. Members had the opportunity to meet Beth during the 2026 SMC in Oklahoma City. Former GAWDA President Bill Vicentainer announced his retirement from the board of Meritus Gas Partners and Atlas Welding Supply. We wish you all the best in a well-deserved retirement, Bill. CM2 Supply acquired Toll Gas and Welding. Butler Gas announced Jim Steffi's promotion to Vice President of Operations. Central Welding Supply announced that it had acquired Morgan Steel. Airgas acquired Arco Welding Supply. Airwater America announced the consolidation of Tomco Systems and Taylor Wharton America. Forney Industries named Dane Anderson as its new president. The Messer Distributor Group named Raderman Manufacturing as its Supplier of the Year. And finally, Meritus Gas Partners welcomed Scott Blankman as its new Vice President of Sales and Mark Harrington as its new Director of Operations for Safety for its Eastern region. To learn more about any of these member news items or to submit member news of your own, read the complete June 1st issue of the GAWDA Connection in your email inbox today or by clicking the link in the description below. GAWDA Media is the go-to resource for news and information about the gases and welding industry. Through our wide variety of publication platforms, GAWDA Media keeps our members up to date on all of the most breaking news, emerging trends, and member events in the industry. Want to get your company's message seen? We have a quarterly print publication, a twice-monthly newsletter, an online buyer's guide, and a twice-monthly news show. If it's happening at Gases and Welding, it's happening on GAWDA Media. Want to learn more? Contact your GAWDA Media representative today. And that's our show for this month. Once again, we had an amazing time catching up with everybody in person in Oklahoma City. Members like you allow the association to continue to raise the bar each year, and we can't wait to see you all again in Boston in September. But don't wait until then to attend an in-person GAWDA event. Registration is open now for the Seven Springs Regional Meeting from June 23rd to the 24th in Seven Springs, Pennsylvania. Registration is also open now for the Northwest Regional Meeting in Bellevue, Washington from July 24th to the 26th. And while registration isn't yet open for the Central Regional, mark your calendars for August 3rd and 4th as the Central Regional returns to historic Notre Dame University. We can't wait to see you at one of these meetings in 2026. For all of us here at GAWDA TV, this is Steve Guglielmo signing off.